The focus of our lecture today will be on mammalian adaptations in two harsh environments, extremely hot and extremely cold. To further understand this topic, we will be making comparisons to humans and our own environment. To begin, we will go over some general terms. Thermoregulation is the maintenance of core internal body temperature. Vasodilation is the dilation of blood vessels to dissipate heat, while vasoconstriction is the constriction of blood vessels to conserve heat. Allen's rule is the trend for homeotherms to have shorter and more compact limbs and extremities in cold climates.
There are three types of adaptations that we saw in class that we are going to see in this video. The first adaptation is structural. It involves some part of an organism's body. So for example, structural adaptations can be teeth, any sort of body covering, camouflage, or mimicry. The second adaptation is behavioral. It includes activities or behaviors that help an animal to survive. So for example, like how an opossum plays dead when approached by a predator. The last adaptation is physiological. They are behaviors that are controlled by the brain. So for example, they could be any type of reflexes, blinking, pain, or swallowing.
There are four types of heat transfer, as seen in class, that a mammal may adapt to. First is conduction, the direct physical transfer of heat. Convection is heat transfer due to the movement of a fluid. Radiation is the transfer of heat by electromagnetic waves. And finally, evaporation is heat loss from the surface of liquid. The first harsh environment we will be examining is the Arctic, one of the coldest extreme environments on the planet, with temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius. Intense wind in the Arctic can account for 75% loss of heat by convection, making it extremely difficult for mammals to survive here without any thermal adaptations. Polar bears have many adaptations, allowing them to maintain their internal body temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. Behaviorally, they will dig shelter pits and use snow as an extra layer of insulation against strong winds. Structurally, they exhibit Allen's rule, and as well as possess 2 layers of water-resistant fur and a fat layer up to 12 centimeters thick. In humans, we drink low-fat milk as we do not need this layer of fat to survive in our moderate environment. Polar bear cubs are fed 27% milk, allowing them to gain a thick layer of fat early on in their lives. Imagine if humans drank 27% milk. Humans have also developed a sort of behavioral adaptation to cold environments, though it is not as effective as the polar bears.
As far as physiological adaptations go, the Arctic fox is a perfect demonstration on how to survive in this harsh environment. This mammal succeeds by decreasing its overall basal metabolic rate, as well as possessing a mechanism which prevents their paws from freezing on the snow and ice surface, like our own hands and feet would. This is called a capillary rete mirabile and is located under the skin of their pads.
The muskox species have a behavioral adaptation in the harsh Arctic weather. Their herds have adapted to huddle together in order to conserve their body heat. They also have a structural adaptation, which are their thick, long, hollow hairs covering their body. This acts as an insulator, which also retains their body heat. A desert is described as being an extreme environment because of its high temperature. It is an area that sees under 50 centimeters of rain a year, and the temperature ranges between 43 to 49 degrees Celsius during the day, but also it can drop as low as -18 degrees Celsius during the night. The heat makes it difficult for mammals to survive in this extreme environment, so they need some kind of thermal adaptation to survive.
As an extra measure of physiological responses to heat such as vasodilation and reduction of metabolic rate, as well as structural adaptations, camels have unique blood morphology. Both their red and white blood cells are elongated and oval-shaped compared to our round discs. The erythrocytes in particular are more abundant with a lower individual volume than other mammals. Instead of sweating and seeking shade, this lowered volume decreases blood viscosity and allows camels to increase their rate of circulation in order to keep cool in this extreme environment.
Cape ground squirrels display an interesting structural adaptation. Their large tail shelters their body from above, protecting it from the sun's rays and receiving heat through radiation, allowing them to survive in this warm environment. Their tail functions similarly to how a human may use an umbrella.
The kangaroo rat has two types of adaptations. The first adaptation is behavioral. They have adapted to avoid the intense desert heat by restricting their activities to the night. During the day, they dig deep underground burrows, which are cooler and higher in humidity, and plug the entrance to these burrows with surrounding dirt to keep the heat out. The second adaptation is physiological. They are experts at conserving moisture. The kidneys have evolved to concentrate their urine to about 4 to 5 times that of humans. The kangaroo rat has also adapted to live their entire life without a drop of liquid, getting their water by metabolizing starch and fat from their diet, unlike humans, who are recommended to drink 8 glasses of water each day.
These are just some of the many thermal adaptations that mammals have evolved to allow them to deal with their extreme environments. We hope you have gained a better understanding of the way that mammals are highly diversified in order to survive around the globe.